No, my lawyer said I can't be Stevie Nicks. I'm just a generic, non-specific look-alike.
And welcome to the generic, non-specific Stevie Nicks podcast. I'm your co-host, Randy.
And I'm Anthony.
And we have a special guest today.
I see a guy in a box here. What's going on?
Yes.
Hey guys. Thanks for having me on.
Yes. Anthony, tell everybody who our special guest is today.
Our special guest today is DJ Sammy Jo, the official DJ for the Night of 1,000 Stevies. And for our listeners and viewers, you know that whenever we have a special guest, we like to do a special intro. So Randy's passed the torch to me, and you'll get that in a minute to do this week's. Are you ready, Sammy?
I'm ready.
What should we call you? Should we call you DJ? Should we call you Sammy? Should we call you
Sammy's good.
Sammy?
Sammy. Sammy's good. Everyone calls me Sammy.
Okay. At the Olympics, when the torch is passed, they don't just hand over a baton ablaze. They are passing over a flame born from the sun, a fire that has to be shielded from wind, guarded from rain, and kept alive so the original light never dies. In 2004, at the 14th annual Night of 1,000 Stevies, that same sacred care was taken and a new standard bearer chosen. Our next guest was past the primordial flame of steering the musical direction of Night of 1,000 Stevies as the official DJ, and for 2 decades has stoked to fire to be as hot as a room on fire and as bright as gold dust, woman. His professional name is a dynastic prophecy. He has lived up to it ever since, kicking off a messy party to bolden and underscore his legacy. From his early days as a Winnie the Pooh tycoon, managing a record distribution empire at the edge of his parents' driveway, to his 1997 debut in the rooms of Mother, he has been a man in the booth protecting our pulse. Whether he's deep in the crates, headlining a global event, or looking for that 192 live version of Rhiannon where you swear you can hear Sharon Solani burp, providing one extra beat needed for the perfect mix, he isn't here to play your favorite song. He's here to take you on a journey you didn't even know you needed. So whatever you do, enjoy the path he sculpts for you and don't request a song. Or you just might get the scissors, sister. All you beautiful, grab your tambourines and welcome to the podcast, DJ Sammy Jo.
Wow, that was quite an intro. That was amazing.
Feel free to use it wherever you want.
Okay. I wasn't sure where you're going with the record store, and I forgot that that's part of my.
Yeah, we were researching you, and I saw that. I was like, that is so adorable.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to be on the show with us today.
I'm so happy I could be here with you and talk about Stevie and Christine.
Yes, absolutely. We will talk about all of that. Since you mentioned it,
Randy, before we go, for our audience, the Winnie the Pooh reference I saw, is that accurate? That your parents set up a table for you at the end of the driveway to talk about your Winnie the Pooh album?
I did. I had like a couple records, and we lived in Jacksonville, Florida, and we had just one of those like big long driveways that we used to roller skate around. And then, I guess one day I just brought a bunch of my records out, and they put a table up, and I was trying to sell my records.
An
I
indie
sold my
record
sisters
store.
too.
That's amazing.
And you were named after the Sammy Jo character from the TV show Dynasty. That's where you got
Yes, Johnny Dynell actually named me that.
Johnny did. Oh, okay.
Yeah, he gave me that name one day when we were walking. We were actually walking to Mother. And I guess there was a poster. I think it was when Heather Locklear was doing Texas Justice.
Okay.
And so there were all these posters up of her. And he was like, oh, remember Sammy Jo? When she came to when she started Dynasty, it was like, bam, everything was going to be ruined. She's trouble. And then he's like, that's you. You're trouble. You're like here to ruin everything. And it stuck.
Wow.
Awesome.
That is an amazing origin story for your name. So can you recall the first time that you heard Stevie Nicks and how you felt about listening to her the first time?
I I mean, it must have been, but going back to growing up in Florida in the 70s, we had like, I just remember having amazing rock radio stations down there. Like it was just like beach rock, like it was just always good, like Steve Miller and Fleetwood Mac and, like all these sort of funky rock bands. And so I distinctly remember hearing Edge of 17, I think at a roller rink, and just being like, what the hell is this? Like, that guitar, you're just like, what? I was just like mesmerized by it. And then I wasn't like obsessed with her then or anything like that, but it was like always, I was always sort of like fascinated by everything that she was, putting out.
Well,
okay, go ahead, Randy. Do you have a
no,
follow-up?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So then, many years later, you do your first Night of a Thousand Stevies, which for anyone who doesn't know, because I don't know why, is that it's for the last 30 some years, 34 years, has been in New York City, where people get together. It's 3 hours of Stevie Nicks related acts, and from drag queens and lip syncers to sketches and puppets and everything. So
Yeah.
this time you took the reins as DJ. What did you think? What was your first night like?
I was very nervous, because, obviously just because it was such a huge night and it was has such a, history, that I was like, oh God, can I like fill these shoes? But Johnny was just like, all you have to do is play Stevie, like you kind of can't go wrong, because it's sort of laid out for you. Anything Fleetwood Mac, anything Steve, like it's, the crowd is so up for it that I wasn't so much nervous about, I just wanted it to be the best night for everyone there. I wanted to be able to hit all the right spots, and not just be sort of like, well, here's their greatest hits, like
Right.
trying to find those sort of like nuggets of things that, would kind of shock people. And as in playing the singles as well, because obviously people want to hear those. But yeah, that was like, I just remember thinking like, I want to freak them out, basically.
Well, so when you start planning for your sets every year, do you kind of talk us through the process of like, do you talk with Chi about what the theme is and kind of build the set around that? Are there things that's like, oh, I played that last year, so I'm not going to play it this year, kind of thing?
It's sort of, usually it's not so much the theme, but she'll send me like the performers list and what songs they're doing. So, and it's amazing how much it changes every year. Like, it's not like you don't get all the same numbers every year. I think in the beginning, it sort of was that way. You would get kind of what you would expect. But the minute the real Stevie fans started finding out about it, like the real Stevie fan performers started showing, getting on the bill, and they wanted to do, they wanted to do album tracks. They wanted B-side, it sort of, it turned into something really more for like, the fans. So I kind of look to that and think about how I'm going to sort of structure my sets, because, obviously I don't want to play songs that people are about to perform, and, you hold back on certain things. So that usually is what shapes my thing. I will play, if I've played something, I would say maybe like 2 years in a row, I might hold that back or save that for like the very, 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 very end of the night. But yeah, I basically will start. What I do is I kind of just go on to like YouTube and, SoundCloud, and just start like typing in Fleetwood Mac remixes or whatever. And it's every year there's, about 20 new, I'll find 20 new remixes. Which is just such a testament to how amazing their catalog is that, there's always people doing. I mean, a lot of times it's like, yeah, I don't need 4 more remixes of Dreams. They might all be good, but
Sure. Yeah.
But still, it's amazing sometimes you'll find like, oh, someone did a Leather and Lace remix. What? So,
Yeah.
So you answered one of my questions, which was, how do you keep feeling fresh given the limitation of the two catalogs, which is vast, but
Yeah.
still. But do you ever creep outside the edges? Sandy Stewart, I don't know. I'm trying to think of things like that.
I've never
Okay.
gone outside of the parameters of anyone from Fleetwood Mac, um, or anything Fleetwood Mac, and then anyone from Fleetwood Mac has made, um, that I can think of. I think because it's always, there's just so much you can play that like it'd be a waste of time to try, to sort of step out.
I will reach out if I ever can finish I'm not a DJ. I'm not a musician, but I've been playing with different kinds of DJ software to mix When Doves Cry and Edge of 17 a lot.
Okay, see, like that, like I can do that. I've played stuff that is that. Right, like I'll do that as long as there is still a toe
Yeah.
in the Mac
Right.
catalog.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
Yeah.
I've done that where it's been sort of like, sampling and stuff like that. But
Okay. So your background before, before we were preparing, we were doing research, your background was very varied in terms of the kind of music you DJ'd across the years. If I heard it right, it was punk, there was, new wave, of course, rock, probably all the varieties, hard, yacht, whatever.
yeah.
And how do you see Stevie's songs across like all the genres? I always say "Dreams" is the one of the best R&B songs of all time. I
Right.
say so. How do you try to look through that lens when you're choosing songs that you want the folks to hear?
I mean, really, it's really about what makes a good dance floor song. Like what to me, what pops out and says like, oh God, like I can see the people going crazy for this mix. And even if it's not like, say, one of the fast ones, even if it's, something where you've got like, 95 beats per minute or something like, If Anyone Falls or whatever, it's still like when you hear it, you just know you're like, oh, they're going to go nuts for this. So like, like I can play that. That's what I love too, is that like, there's even some of like sort of the spookier songs or whatever that someone will do a treatment on it and just give it like maybe a stronger kick. And it'll just be like, oh, like, that's for the dance floor. Like they're gonna love that. So I kind of just use that as like my guide. Like what would I see them, go nuts for on the dance floor?
Have you ever played something or that maybe you thought the crowd was going to respond to stronger that they didn't?
Oh yeah, a lot of times because it can be tricky because you know certain things that like towards the end of the night, Chi has this great term, Stevie fatigue, where like by like after like the third act, say, of the different sets, after the third set, like people start to fade. It's like they've been in high heeled boots for 4 hours. So
I don't know what you're talking about. This is blasphemy here.
No, I totally get it because that would be the absolute wrong time to play anything from Street Angel.
Someone actually did a remix of Operation Desert Storm, which really I was like, whoa, that takes nerve.
Wow. Wow, now I'm gonna have to listen.
Wait, what was it? Desert Angel.
Yeah, Desert Angel. Yeah.
But yeah, there's been songs that for sure I kind of like they didn't land. I think I had this really cool Blue Lamp remix that is just like really kind of fast and techno-y. It's not, they didn't, change it too much, but it's like,
awesome.
I've tried to play it and I just feel like it never lands how I want it to land. But I haven't given up. I still have for it.
At least the two of us will hit the floor for you.
We will
Okay.
be
Play
yes.
it this year.
Good.
We
Play
will
it
be
this
there
year.
this year, and I will be looking for it.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's great
yeah.
because it's got like, it starts with this intro of her talking about the story of the blue lamp.
Okay.
And
Oh
then it just
yeah.
kind of launches into the song. It just like, dum, 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 and goes into the song.
Oh, that is so cool.
I've always thought of it as kind of her dipping, borrow your phrase, dipping her toe into like new wave when I
Mhm.
first heard it. So that
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense to me, like as a progression.
Mhm.
That's awesome.
Are
Is
there?
there? Oh, go ahead, Randy.
No, go. No, you go.
Do you have what's your top five? Top five
Okay.
Stevie songs you're going to play. You don't care what the audience wants, needs, or thinks.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. Okay, so full confession, I'm actually kind of Team McVie when it comes to
I
Fleetwood Mac.
heard that.
I know, blast. I know. It's blast.
Wait. It does which McVie? That's what I'm.
Oh, right.
I need to understand.
Christine, for sure.
Okay.
So like, I mean, as I obviously like, it's not, I love them all.
Okay.
They're all great.
Yeah.
But the ones that I get excited, like the Fleetwood Mac songs I get really excited for are you like slightly more excited for, I should say, are some of the Christine songs. So it's like,
What are they?
Say That You Love Me,
Mhm.
and Little Lies, just because people go so nuts for that song, and there's like such good remixes of it. And when it comes to Stevie, like I love definitely, I would say Nightbird is one of my top. Yeah, so we're going to Nightbird. I love Sarah too, even though like for a while Sarah, I couldn't find the way in. I like know it was I knew it was a good song, but I just was sort of like, it just never. And then I heard a remix of it, and I was like, no, it is an amazing song. So I would definitely put that there too. And okay, this is going to sound really dumb, but just because I always love playing it, is oh god, no, what's the one she does with oh god, I have to look it up. I'm drawing a total blank now. It's so embarrassing.
Just hum a few bars.
Sweet love going on as every night.
Yeah. Whenever I call you,
Kenny
Whenever I call you friend.
Kenny
Right.
Loggins.
Yes.
Yeah.
I personally think
part.
that's one of the best, if not the best, Stevie vocal ever recorded. So I'm right there.
Yeah.
Whenever I call you friend is just like, that's another one that is all, and that's usually like kind of the end of the night song that I know if they're starting to fade, like that's one that kind of like brings it back.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's like a hit of poppers for the dance floor.
Yeah. Well, we have even talked about this on the podcast. Christine McVie is the secret weapon of Fleetwood Mac, and she was the hit maker. Even if she didn't get kind of the same attention that Stevie and Lindsay did, but also I love to listen to Christine's songs because of Stevie's harmonies too. The way that Stevie would harmonize with Christine, and in fact, there's a great outtake of "Oh Daddy" from Rumors where Lindsey Buckingham is not even singing, and it's just Christine and Stevie singing on that.
Oh wow!
And it is just chef's kiss.
Yeah.
It is so good.
Well, and it's also because you can always like, even though if she sings one note, behind Christine, you can hear it. Like,
oh yeah,
it's like there's such different voices and they're so distinct that you're like, oh, that's Stevie coming in. Even if it's just like even if Lindsay only gives her a blip,
right?
You still know that's Stevie.
Yeah. So
on this podcast, it's he who shall not be named.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh man. So when we talked to Chi earlier, she talked about the people that keep coming back year after year and how this has grown. With your DJing for the sets, how do you keep it fresh and new for all of these people that are coming back year after year after year, and how does that fit into the way that you program the night?
I think for me, it's part of it is like what we were talking about before, where it's like, oh, if I've played something 2 years in a row, I'll kind of put that on, I'll find a different remix maybe to play, or I'll like kind of shelve that. But what's great is that because it's not always the same performances every year, there's always like a different element to every year with what people choose to perform on the night. So I'm really lucky that I have that behind, backing me up for me to play, to sort of play around that structure. And I think it really is a case of where people are just interested in to hear what little like hidden gems I found, or, it's sort of, people are always sort of reaching out to me after and be like, oh, what was that mix you played of this or that, or, where did you find that kind of thing. So I think it's just, they're genuinely curious about what I'm going to find as much as I am, like what's going to pop up this year. And it just makes it exciting for me as much as I can play like, stuff I played before. I'm just, super excited usually to, bust out the new stuff and see how it lands.
I know you're the musical director, so I imagine even when you're not doing a set, are you able to watch the show?
Oh yeah, it's great. Where I am, I mean, especially at Irving Plaza, because I'm up in the balcony, so we're basically, I look out at the show. And usually I'm trying to think where we've been before. I'm usually within eyesight of it because a lot of times like Johnny has to see to like run when because he runs the cues for the music for the shows. So he has to have, good sight lines. So it's great. I get to see all the performance. I don't have, I mean, sometimes I'll like run off to like get a drink or whatever.
I didn't know if you were doing the music cues and things like that, so that's why I asked. But so then I'll ask you a question we asked Chi-Chi as well. So over the years, you've seen everything: the divine, the unhinged, the accidental masterpiece that shouldn't have worked, but the crowd went wild. What is a performance that lives in your head rent free from over the years?
Oh my gosh! I mean, I would say there's two. If I can mention two. One is one is seeing there was this cabaret duo called Kiki and Herb, who is Kenny Millman and Justin Vivian Bond, who were like this punk rock cabaret act, but she was sort of this tragic alcoholic lounge singer persona. And they did Has Anyone Ever Written Anything For You? And it's so beautiful, and just like everyone just starts crying because it's just so like it was so raw and so heartfelt. And I think it might have even been like kind of right after 9/11. It was like that, maybe that year that they did it. I think no, when was that? Yeah, I think it was then. And so that would I just always remember that happening. It must have been pre 9/11 because it was at Mother. And then the other one's really stupid, but so Joey Arias, who's also a sort of downtown legend performer, there was like a tradition where she would always do Stand Back, and it was always at the very end of the night. And back then, Joey was young and liked to tipple and was trouble, and she never learned the words, so it was like this whole running gag. Like she would always do, she would insist on they would always make her do Stand Back, and she would never learn the words. She would know like a couple of, the chorus, maybe. So it was just like, at first it was sort of like, oh my God, Joe. And then it just became this running gag that we would all be like howling in the DJ booth because Joey still didn't know the words to Stand Back of all songs. Those are my two favorites.
I have a Joey Arias Club Kid coffee table book right here on the shelf. I wish.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Actually, that's kind of also how I got my name, because Johnny walked in on me and Joey making out like in the dressing room at this party called Grey Gardens that I used to work at that he did. So I also busted making out with Joey, and that's when he was like, Sammy Jo, you're trouble.
Okay, one more, Randy, and then you get a question. In Philly, in a club, I cannot tell you what year it was, but it was Lady Bunny, Jody Arias, and Kevin and it's like 5 or 6 drag queens were appearing at this club. And after the show, they tried to have their way with me in the men's room, and I had to be rescued by a bunch of people. And I was. And I have Lady Bunny's phone number from the time. And my husband and I went to a meet and greet like 3 years ago, and I brought it with me. It was on the back of a club flyer.
Oh my God.
He says to me, "Where did you get that? That's still my landline."
I was going to say, she still probably has that.
And she said, and then she goes in true Lady Bunny fashion, "Wow, you must have been something back then." Like, and scene. Sorry, now we're talking about Night of 1,000 Stevie.
Oh God. Oh, God bless that bunny.
Oh man.
I've never called her.
Well, that's why she said that, because you never called.
That's it. Yeah.
That's exactly what happened.
Imagine the path your life would have taken then.
Right. Right. Is there anything special you're working on for this year's set?
I honestly, I haven't started this year's set yet, because I was waiting to see what the what's called performer list was. And usually Chi-Chi has that like maybe a month out. So we're almost there, I feel like. Because then I kind of can know, like I can steer away from, certain things, or, I know to look for other things. So yeah, probably. And I would say maybe like next week or so is when I'll start doing my digging.
Well, I would make suggestions, but you don't take requests. So.
And you don't want to get the scissors.
I take suggestions.
Okay. I'll text you.
Is there some advice you'd have for a first time attendee? How to get the most fun out of the Night of 1,000 Stevies?
Okay. I would say the number one thing I would say is to dress up. Now it doesn't have to, you don't have to go full drag Stevie look or full, but do something, bring it to, whether it's to have a tambourine or, wear a top hat, or it's so much more fun when you're like an active participant in what the night looks like, not just how it feels on the dance floor.
Sorry, I don't know what you're talking about.
One of many, I'm sure.
Yes.
But yeah, no, it's like it's one of those things, and I mean that kind of goes for going out anywhere or anything. It's like put the effort into it. It just makes it, a little bit more special. So that would be one thing. But also, I can say there's the Stevie boutique, so you can actually purchase things there. If you can't come up with a single thing, you can come and support the artists who create looks that, you can get shawls.
Chi-Chi mentioned that when we spoke to her, and ever since it's been stuck on my head. I see a lot of videos on TikTok about Disney. They have the Bippity Boppity Boutique. You got to call it the Ooh Baby Ooh Said Boutique or something like that. I'm so
right.
Ooh Baby Ooh Boutique or Boutique. Yeah. Yeah.
I love
baby,
that. Yeah, so you can buy
boutique.
different pieces there, and just if you didn't prepare, you put it on, and then you're
exactly
ready.
No. So I mean, that's the thing I would say is do something to sort of just contribute.
Okay, so what should you not do? What's something you should not do? What don't come thinking you should do this.
Oh God.
And if there's no answer, that's
a good question.
Don't dress as Lindsey Buckingham.
No. Who did I guess I came as like John McVie one time. I did do LB.
Really?
If it's not Afro LB, I don't really want to see it.
It was that. Although my Afro looked more like an Annie wig, so it kind of it was a really bad LB.
You did it right then. If it was an Annie wig.
My son will come out tomorrow.
Oh God. Don'ts. I'm trying to think don'ts. I don't know. There's really, I mean, it's just don't come with a closed mind. How about that?
There you go.
I'll say that.
Yeah.
have an open mind. Don't come with
So, I know that the event usually closes with the battle. Tell our viewers and listeners about the battle.
So at the very end of the shows, the usually 2 or 3 sets, they call it's the Battle of 1,000 Stevies, and so they call anyone that went dressed up as Stevie is allowed to come on stage, and any of the performers, they'll come back out usually, and they put on Edge of 17, and they like the live version, it's like a 10-minute version, and they all just kind of lip sync battle it out. Like before there was lip sync for your life, there was, Night of 1,000, Battle of 1,000 Stevies. And it's so wacky. And I mean, they've been doing it, I think, ever since maybe the first, I don't know if it was at the first one.
Randy,
it's been going on.
We're bringing a bag of Snoopies and we're handing them out like we're edge walking with the Steve. And you get a Snoopy and you get a Snoopy. I don't know.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it really is just like this, just seeing all the Stevies up on stage, it really is like a bit like such a gorgeous vision, and also that's the other thing too, is like, that makes people feel that just that much more involved. It's not sort of the stand back-ish thing. It's like everyone is kind of welcomed.
That's awesome.
Now,
I was telling Chi-Chi before, I can't remember where, I was in a work trip, and whenever I go to a different city, I look up the gay scene, and by one night, I missed a drag event called The Night of About 9 Stevies. And the biggest
right.
life.
There's someone in I think in Brooklyn, maybe at Metropolitan Bar, where they do Night of 100 Christine McVie's.
No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I'm kicking myself because I still have not been yet.
Okay.
And I've got the Christine McVie wig. I've got the shoulder pad black blazer.
Right. Yeah. They need to have it
if
like
I go,
right after.
I will go as Christine Perfect if I go.
There you go.
I did Christine 2 years ago, I think, and then I did like because I always kind of do. I'm such an ugly woman. When I put on a wig, it's like I'm more feminine than with a wig on. And so I just kind of usually mess it up. So I did like red wine stains all over my teeth and just like all around here. And I like had red wine stains all down this like white t-shirt with a black blazer. And I just kind of, we call it, like doing messy Christine McVie.
They need to hold it either right before or right after so that all of the Christines can crash Night of 1,000 Stevies and all the Stevies can crash.
I know they should like stage a like flash mob.
Yeah,
1,000 Stevies.
They should.
Like rebel. Oh my God.
Randy, we're hosting Night of Negative Number of Lindsay's when we're in New York.
Oh,
that was one of that was another really amazing performance that this queen did, Little Lies.
Oh yes, yeah,
you saw that one, yeah, and it was.
I watched that. It's my Roman Empire.
Oh my God! And she just steals the spotlight.
I'm sorry. Tell our audience about it. We're sorry to jump on it, but we think we know.
Okay, who was? God, I'm trying to remember who it was. Anyway, this queen who has a great voice wanted to do Little Lies, and so I think Johnny came up with the concept of like, okay, it was someone in Severely Named was this drag queen who did the Stevie part, and so the whole thing was like, Christine, and the minute that little like Stevie part hits, spotlight goes out on Christine, it just becomes all Stevie's show. And so then, and she had this like portable keyboard player, the one who was doing Christine, and she'd like drag it over to try and get in the spotlight, and it would keep moving to follow Stevie, even though she wasn't even singing.
I mean, if I remember correctly, like when Stevie was waiting, was she like filing her nails and stuff?
Right, and she had like a cup of tea, like she's like doing her tea bag, right?
And that's the thing I love is there's been such a crazy, path that it's gone, that it's taken where, it started out as this sort of like really a spoof really on like, I think it was Night of 1,000 Barbaras, which was a Barbra Streisand, And so it was kind of like a goof about like the, the lore of Stevie Nicks and Fleetwood Mac and, all that.
Mhm.
And then it became super, like the fans were coming and they kind of took it more seriously. So we kind of it became more straight up performances and things like that. And now it's kind of gone back where people can have a sense of humor about, they understand anything that might happen is done with love. It's not to,
Right.
sort of poke
Yeah.
fun at, it's to, just kind of or it is to poke fun at, but just, in a lighthearted way.
But yeah, in a very loving, very respectful,
Right. Like with all the love. Like that's, yeah.
When we first started doing this
Well,
podcast a few years ago, we used to have because we were going through Stevie's discography, so we would do side A, and then we'd have a spoof commercial break or something, and then we'd do side B, and like we interviewed the dove that Stevie was holding in the Red Rocks, and then it was just so much fun.
we interviewed Street Angel, which is a
We interviewed Street Angel too. Yeah.
I did one year. I did a messy Stevie look, and I had this like brown shawl, and I had all these doves like clipped in, like stuck in my wig, and I put like bird poop all over the shawl and like coming down my face. It was bird
Love
poop
it.
Stevie being attacked by birds.
Oh my God, that is amazing.
If you have Johnny has the like, and he went as I think messy Bonnie Raitt, so he did like Bonnie Raitt drag, and I'm in messy Stevie drag. There's a great photo. I'm sure he'll.
Oh my God,
it's very embarrassing. He'll send it.
Oh, excellent.
So I am going to be on stage reading a poem that I've written about Stevie Nicks. It's going into an anthology book that's being published in June called White Winged Doves, the Stevie Nicks Poetry Anthology. So I haven't been on a stage since, I don't know, 20, 30, 40 years.
Right.
What tips do you have for me for that night?
I would say take your time. Like the crowd is so loving and they want to hear every word you're going to say. So just like be very chill, like just try and it's daunting. You're on stage in front of that many people.
And they're all Stevie Nicks.
And exactly. but the thing is, they just want to absorb everything Stevie. So just like I would say just mentally, like take your time and just let them hear every single word you have to say, because it really is important to them. Because they trust that when we put people on stage, there's a really, really good reason. Because Chi-Chi has to like sift through a lot of people who, not that they're bad performers or whatever, but that, who's going to wow people, or who's going to really, take their breath away, kind of thing. So just like, I would just say, and they're rooting for you. So, enjoy it.
Awesome. Thank you.
I can't wait. That's so awesome. Oh my God.
I know, it is such an amazing poem. I'm so proud of him for what he wrote, and that he gets to do it. And it's just and I think you're right. It's such a deep cut poem too. I can't wait for the audience to hear it.
A spoiler: it's called Carolyn Brooks.
Okay.
There you go.
Do you know?
Mm-mm.
She's one of the lesser known background singers.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is a deep cut.
That's deep liner notes.
That is deep lore.
Yeah.
That is deep
lore.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the fine print.
Yeah. All
So
right.
as we head into the home stretch of this, when you're getting into when you're there on the night, do you have a moment from the booth where you feel the audience kind of lock in for the night, that it's a specific performance or it's a specific track that you've played, and how does the energy in the room shift, and how do you feel about it? How do you observe it?
That's a great question. And because it really is like that, where something happens and they, like you said, lock in, like you just feel it shift from people like swaying to like hands in the air and like shouting, and like you can just, there is that moment where it just kind of flips, or it just, you know, goes into like turbo. And it's kind of different. It can be different every year. Like as much as I try to plan it, sometimes, you know, like there'll be, you know, sometimes they'll start off dancing like the minute they're all there, you know, and so it can happen really up front at the beginning of the night. Sometimes it's in after the first block of performances that sort of gets their, you know, their juices flowing, and they start getting that need to dance because they've just been watching, you know, performers, and they want to like do, now they want to dance. So it's usually like either right before the first set of performances or like in between the first and second is genuine. That's usually when I can feel, that's when I feel it for myself in terms of my sets and stuff.
So do you also feel it when the Stevie fatigue sets in?
Oh yeah, for sure. That's because that's when I bust out.
That would be like, thing, like 7-8 days later. I don't understand what you're talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yes, and I mean, like that's why a lot of times I'll kind of hold back on, you know, playing a Dreams or Rhiannon or something. You know, like a lot of those I kind of save that for when the fatigue hits, because then, you know, you can kind of like keep them, you can kind of keep them there a little bit more. And like, you know, it's like I don't want to play you know, I wouldn't play maybe like Talk to Me at the end of the night, because it's sort of like that's the kind that needs a little more energy from people to keep it, you know, because it's a slower one. So, you know, that one I like playing sort of in the middle, in the meat of the night. But yeah, you can definitely feel, it when it's like people are like, okay,
Yeah.
this might be my last twirl of the night.
Right.
So just to recap for folks, it's Night of 1,000 Stevies, May 2nd, Irving Plaza, New York City. Show start, I think doors open at 8. Show starts
8 o'clock.
at 9, right?
Yep, 8 o'clock. And I mean, like, it is the kind of thing now where people are there at 8. I mean, it's, you know, it's not, you know, it's not a mob scene at 8, but it's like they want to get their spot on the floor and soak up as much as they can.
That's awesome. Anything else folks should know about the event if they're planning to come?
No, I would just say, you know, get your tickets in advance, that, you know, because it can sell out.
And it's 1,000, the number 1000 people, 1000stevies.com.
I believe so. Yeah. Okay. And also there's a ticket link on their Instagram and Facebook pages. And yeah, it really is like my favorite night of the year to DJ, because it's just like a total love fest.
Okay, so you're somewhere else. You've been booked, I don't know, in Britain, and you know, in England, and you're just doing a normal set. How much Stevie do you fit in, or do you resist the urge?
It depends. Like, I mean, it's weird, because a lot of times when I was playing abroad, you know, she doesn't have the exact same like resonance over there that, you know, that she would here in the States. Like maybe in Britain you can, but like I was, you know, living in Barcelona for a while, and it's like they wouldn't know it really. So I rarely would play it over there so much.
So cross Barcelona off my expatriate.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no. But yeah, but I mean, definitely though, in the UK, I could drop some Stevie, and they would, you know, they would go for it. But I think to them also, it's like, it's so, even though, like, I mean, you know, some of them are English, whatever, I think like Fleetwood Mac just seems so American in a way.
Which is funny, because it started at a
British. Yeah, no, like it's their fault.
Yeah.
They created it, so.
Well,
anything else you want to tell us? Sammy Jo, official DJ of Night of 1,000 Stevies.
No, I just look forward to seeing you guys on the dance floor, and I can't wait to hear your poem. And and you know, let me know if you have any suggestions.
I am Composing
gonna
that
send
email
you-
right now.
I'm
Okay.
going to send you a link to a remix I just shared with Randy if you haven't heard it. It's a remix of Show Them the Way. And I
Okay.
was like, what? This is amazing. This is a dance song. How did it become a dance song?
Yeah.
You know what? I am trying to figure out how to get or master whatever has to be done to it. Is that the YouTube clip of her backstage singing "The Wild Heart"? It's not
Oh,
even
yeah,
written,
yeah.
and it's just her.
Mhm.
And is it Lori? Maybe.
Yeah, and she's getting her makeup done,
And
and
she's
it's
getting her
during the
makeup done.
photo shoot.
And
Yeah.
it's just like she's just riffing.
Mhm.
And it's the most like I
love
have it burned to like as a digital file, but the quality is so shit that like
Yeah.
I think I played it one year at it was like the last thing I played just to like
Mhm.
when there was maybe 5 people on the dance floor at the end of the night. But I'm trying to figure out how I might be able to, I don't know, somehow get it beefed up to play it, in the night. Because it's so, I mean, in that, I just feel like that people would gag to hear that.
Oh, yeah.
Because everyone would know it.
Absolutely.
That's like the most beautiful clip. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll figure
Right.
it away. Maybe I'll send it to you to master.
There you go.
See what I can do.
You do your
Yes.
best.
Man, this was fantastic. We cannot wait to see you. This is our first time to come to Knott's.
Oh
ever.
my
This has been
God.
on our bucket list forever.
I've talked about it forever. I live 2 hours, in Philly, right? Not even 2 hours away. And every year I plan and I don't do it. But
Oh my God. It's
Rhiannon has intervened and all the moons are aligning.
They have
and
taken us a while, but we lured you in.
Yes.
amazing.
Yes.
It's so much fun. You're gonna have the best time. Oh,
And
that's
Randy
that
lives
makes
in
me
Texas.
more excited.
Randy lives in
Yeah,
Texas. We've been best friends for over 30. Well, Randy, I just realized it last night.
Yeah, the year.
We've been friends the first year of the first night of 1,000 Stevies.
Wow.
The same year, yeah. Yeah.
But we
It's,
live 1,800 miles apart and we don't see each other in person that often. But when we do, and this is going to be so special together.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Just
This is going to be fun.
Get there at
Fantastic.
8 and stay till the end. You're gonna have the best time.
Oh, we are. We are so excited.
And thank you for having me on. I was
yeah.
Oh, you're
so happy
welcome.
to-
Yeah,
And
this
anytime you
was
want to come
great.
back and talk to us, just let us know. We're happy to have you.
all right.
Yeah,
Yeah, maybe we could
absolutely.
do a recap after the night.
There you go.
Absolutely, we can.
You can give me
We
give me your thoughts and pointers.
All right. I'm sure you will have a stellar review. And thank you again for being on. And until next time, Anthony.
We will see you all on the other side of the mirror.
All right, said Alice.
Good night,
Thanks,
guys.
Sammy.
Bye.
Good night.